Hello, my name is Randall Thompson. I'm here to show you a demonstration on deep penetrating sealer and how we are able to waterproof concrete inside a concrete, not by using a surface sealer. This is a very unique product, very unique to the market. And what we like to do is explain all the aspects of it and actually show you how it works right here in front of you. One thing I will take note is that this product here is non-toxic, it has no odor, it has no health aspects that could harm you other than equal to a bar of soap. So to further show you, let me demonstrate. Stop. What you have here is a typical piece of concrete slab. What our product does is it does not stay on the surface like a normal concrete sealer. It actually penetrates down into the concrete anywhere from 1/2 inch up to 4 inches into the concrete, depending on the porosity of the concrete and how much saturation are present with water. What you can see here is what happens to most concrete. Once it's formed, in the first 72 hours you get what's known as alkali. This is what harms concrete. This is the worst thing that can actually be induced into concrete, yet it is a natural byproduct of concrete, the formation of concrete. What deep penetrating sealer does, it actually goes into the concrete and seeks out this alkali and takes this alkali and converts it to an insoluble glass-like structure that can only be penetrated by the oxygen molecule or smaller. What I'm going to demonstrate here is, just like the molecules inside this concrete, the very open pores left by dehydration, this glass will represent a microscopic pore. And in this glass I have alkali, which is present in almost all the structure of concrete. I will now introduce into this our DPS, just like we would normally. It would go into the concrete and penetrate. I'm going to agitate it, and it's a little higher concentration than normal, just to speed up the reaction. This reaction time inside the concrete takes up to sometimes 28 days to take effect. But in most cases you'll find results within 14 days. But what is unique again about this product is that it penetrates inside the concrete and totally has no effect on the surface of the concrete to pedestrians or people walking over the concrete or even driving over the concrete. As you can see, this is what happens. It first forms an aerogel, which creates a hydrostatic head against pressures up to 9,000 psi we have held back. This aerogel will stay in its form for the lifetime of the concrete, because what this happens is this becomes permanent part of the concrete is that it actually forms a chemical bond with the portlandite inside the concrete. The portlandite is the bad part of concrete when it forms. It is done by dehydration. What is unique about our product is it actually goes inside the concrete and becomes part of the portlandite, which is calcium hydrate. Now with our product it becomes calcium silicate hydrate. This is an insoluble situation, cannot be broken apart without strong chemical or agitative situations. Now I also will show you the demonstration how this works as far as non-toxicity. As you can see, the water does not separate whatsoever with this product. It would sit here for weeks, months. As long as there's water present, it will stay in an aerogel state. This aerogel state, though, once dried, will actually turn to a hard crystal. Again, this hard crystal is breathable. It does allow oxygen to pass, nothing larger. This is why we were able to shut off things like ammonia and animal feces and sometimes large bacteria. The one thing that we do, though, is breathe, which is important in concrete. If concrete does not breathe, you can have destruction from things called alkali-silicon reaction. Now, I will demonstrate, if you will pan out, I will demonstrate how toxic this is. No effect whatsoever. You must remember that the base product of this is used in our drinking water every day to keep pipes clean. Now, as I said, what I've demonstrated to you is how we actually penetrate into the concrete and how our product forms in the concrete. But now I'm going to tell you what we do with the concrete. If you apply our product within 12 hours of a fresh pour of concrete, we can actually cure the concrete out. And that way you have no spiral cracking or spalling that is associated with premature dehydration of concrete. And when it's all cured, you then have a sealed driveway. We also strengthen concrete because of the fact we fill every microscopic pore with a solid crystal-like substance. We actually increase the concrete strength. Our best concrete strength increase has been 350 psi, and that was with a church in Key West, Florida. Very old concrete, 850 psi. We've also saved many slabs in many homes. We had a home in Miami where we saved a slab that was only 1100 psi. We were able to, with one application of DPS, we were able to bring that slab back up to 2200 psi average, in which case the slab and the house was saved. Brand new home. I also let you know that we do not cause any adverse effects to concrete. You do not have a slippery effect from the concrete. You can still stain the concrete with coloring. You can have ice-free concrete if you seal with DPS because the moisture cannot penetrate the concrete. That way ice cannot stick and ice cannot do damage, as we found in many cases when you see ice freezing and popping concrete. Stop. Subcontractors who use DPS have found that with painting, their paints last up to 300% longer because they have no alkali and no moisture damage from behind the paint. Carpeting companies like us because we stop the moisture problems from below the carpet, and we also stop the pet and odors from other animals. Last thing I will tell you is that we are the only product on the market right now that can be applied to an absolutely wet, dripping wall of concrete and actually stop the moisture problem within 48 hours. We apply one application DPS, we wait 24 hours and we reevaluate it, and all we find is a small area. We reapply a second coat to just the area that is saturated still, and then within 48 hours, in most cases, we have been able to eliminate for the lifetime of that concrete any moisture coming through that concrete. But I must remind you, we breathe. It is very important that concrete breathes, but we do not let any moisture come through.